Interlude. Maybe I'm mistaken about the Remington SL3. I'm no longer convinced that it will do. Oh, it's a superb tool for the proper desk in the proper office. If there's a treatise you wish to compose, a letter to the editor, an invoice, a book review, why, it will cross your T's before you come to them. And I'm positive that there are secretaries who would prefer it to their mates. But for the novelist, any typewriter is a formidable thing. And the Remington SL3, with its interchangeable printing units, its electric margins, variable line spacer, paper centering scale, personalized touch control, automatic paragraphing button, vertical and horizontal half spacing, express backspacer, skip tabulation, improved umlaut maker, and misspell alarm. Well, to face that degree of mechanical sophistication in the midnight of your sanctum is to know a brand of fear. First of all, it hums, purrs like a seductive house cat, fairly trembles upon the table. It seems too goddamn eager to get to work. Hey, relax, fella, I'm thinking. Don't push me. Then there's its color, blue. Not matte black, mysterious, deep, absorbent, accepting, non-committal, priestly black like typewriters of old, but harsh, chill, modern blue that causes it to affect even by candlelight the suspecting, censorious glare of the customs inspector or efficiency engineer. It appears to be looking over my shoulder even as I'm looking over its. All right. Those toadstool spores I inadvertently snorted while cleaning out my refrigerator may be magnifying sensation, but this is not the first time that intimidation by typewriter has caused me to consider the pen. Pencils are out of the question. Their marks are impermanent. Of course, fountain pens leak, ballpoints have no style, and moreover, always run away from home. The peacock quill appeals to me, the woodpecker quill even more so. But the last are hard to come by, and the first are scratchy and slow. Perhaps what a novelist needs is a different sort of writing implement, say a Remington built of balsa wood. Its parts glued together like a boyhood model, delicate, graceful, submissive, and ready to soar as an ace. Ready to soar as an ace. Better, a carved typewriter hewn from a single block of sacred cypress, decorated with mineral pigments, berry juice, and mud, its keys living mushrooms, its ribbon the long iridescent tongue of a lizard. An animal typewriter, silent until touched, then filling the page with growls and squeaks and squawks, yells and bleats and snorts, brayings and chatterings, and dry rattlings from the underbrush. A typewriter that could type real kisses, ooze semen and sweat. Or a typewriter constructed of tiny seashells by a retired merchant sailor, built inside a bottle so that it could be worked only by the little finger of the left hand of a right-handed person. A left-handed typewriter for a left-handed task. You're aware, I assume, of the scientific discovery that our universe lives side by side with a parallel universe. The two universes, identical in many respects, are opposite in electrical charge and magnetic property. The anti-universe, so-called, is in effect a mirror image, a reverse copy. Well, certain amino acids are left-handed, some are their reflection, right-handed. But the proteins in living organisms are always left-handed. The right-handed amino acids are impossible to digest and can be harmful to life. It's smart not to eat anything you find in a mirror. As for those novels that claim to mirror reality, may a word to the wise be sufficient. Towards the wind down of the Second World War, an American flyer parachuted from his burning plane to land in an isolated village near Japan's Inland Sea. The villagers, devout Buddhists, far removed from the hot arenas of events and the Shinto fascistic industrial philosophies that had spawned the events, took in the broken pilot and nursed him. They kept him concealed and alive for several months, but eventually he died. Since Buddhists have reverence for all life, they also respect the properties of death. The villagers wished to award the dead foreigner his entitled burial, but the only funeral customs with which they were familiar were Buddhist, and those, of course, would have been inappropriate. Having packed the corpse in pond ice, they set out to make inquiries about Christian burial procedures. all very discreetly so as not to arouse the suspicion of the authorities. Their luck was small. At last, someone smuggled into the village a Japanese translation of an English language book that promised to provide the information they sought. The book was called Finnegan's Wake. If you can picture those remote 1945 Japanese peasants earnestly trying to hold a drunken Irish wake, complicated by the experimental wordplay of James Joyce, you can picture the relationship between an author, his typewriter, and the reality to whose recreation he's obliged to apply the southpaw touch, even though he knows only too well the function Arabs and Hindus assign the left hand. I'm so far gone that I expect technologists to be interested in designing machines for artists. Why, if novelists got wooden typewriters, poets would demand that theirs be ice. What is more likely is that their technology will bypass artists, that a day is coming when our novels will be written by computers, the same devices that will paint our murals and compose our tunes. If I'm chuckling, it's because I'm imagining a computer programmed to produce logical variations on the 18 possible literary plots. I'm imagining the computer trying to deal with what happened in Lee Cherie's attic. If I'm chuckling, it means that the Remington SL3 had better watch its P's, its capital P's, lowercase p's, capital Q's, and lowercase q's.